have one ass cheek and 3 toes, I will beat your ass.
We some lions, don't let the boys get loose. About to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening. Time to make history, I want a victory. Lions, don't let the boys get loose. About to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening. Time to make history, I want a victory. Lions, don't let them boys get loose. It's a new day, Honolulu Blue got the boys on a crusade. Campbell throwing dukes, got golf at the Wings game. Hear his name, replay and replay and replay. Got him off the leash every Sunday. David Montgomery, Gibbs on the runway. Take a shot at Jameson and stumble out the hallway. Running in the hutch any day, that's a bad day. They don't wanna bring us up, keep us off the airways. America's team, sick of dealing with these cowboys. Keep it in your hostess, you've been cheating like an off day. We got Slim Shady, you too caught up in Beyonce. Welcome to Detroit, all that grit can go a long way. Panay drawn lines in the ground like a driveway. Trucking up L's at a porter, that's a bad name. Sinners need saints, put our faith in a mom's hand. Lions, don't let the boys get loose. About to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions.
Welcome to Victory Monday. This is the one ass cheek and three toe show. Man, I gotta get better at that thing. That's our title, man. It's a long winded.
What's up, yo? How's it going?
Say that 3 times
man.
fast.
Yeah, no shit, right? I am your ass cheek, Nathan Castro, and I got my 2 toes here, B Strilla, Jay.
What's happening?
I cut off there.
Up though.
Get together, Nate.
Anyways, I know it's been a little bit of a minute, man. I've been in the sun all day, so I apologize. And it hasn't been because I was at the beach. I was working, so
Yeah,
I'll just get that out of the way.
You.
All right.
Texas sun
Yeah.
is no joke either.
Oh no, hell no! It's about 100 degrees right now, so yeah, we're good. All right, y'all. Well, hey, we got the victory.
Yes, sir.
It's not pretty. A little bit ugly, a little bit frustrating at times. But you know what? I think somebody on the ticket said it best. That's what we're used to as Lions fans.
Yep.
We don't win sexy. We don't win going away a lot of times. If we do, we embrace it because shit doesn't happen all the time with us. We're a grind out, tough-minded, battle-tested team. Like we're building calluses with these games going forward to get us ready for the playoffs. And so, yeah, I'm okay with that. It does get my heart rate up a little bit. It does get my blood boiling with frustration at times. But you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. I love my Lions. I love the way we fight. I love the way I think we all knew Dan Campbell was going to get this ship right this next game. And he did.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Yeah, I agree with you. For a little bit me, I think I was voicing my concerns a little bit earlier in the week, and I even expressed that on the podcast, podcast, a couple days ago. But I was expecting a bounce back game. I didn't know how it was going to be. I kind of thought that the Cardinals would keep it a little bit closer than what they did, because even though the Lions only won by a touchdown, it was a lot closer than. It was a lot, a little bit more dominant than
Yeah. We should have won this game with about 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. And Dan Campbell, he always says it best, man. And that's one thing that we and the players do a lot is trust in Dan Campbell, man. That's the identity of the team. Getting them gritty wins, getting those, gutting out the when you got a lot of injuries piling up, which we get to later, but when things seem a little bit hard, you just gut it out, man. That just shows that's the personification of a real football team. Just tough, being able to
And I think one thing to add to that with Dan Campbell is, yes, he is an emotional guy because he wears his heart on his sleeves. He's not a guy who's going to lie to you. I think he's too honest at times, but that's okay. I'd rather a coach be too honest than lie to you. Also, too, he's even keel. Just like when we talk, when he was there asking him about the injuries and all that, he's like, hey, guys, we knew this was going to happen. It happens to us all the time. Mm-hmm. We have a plan. We're ready. He's not, oh, God, the world's falling. Oh, I don't know what we're going to do. No, he knows what they're going to do. Next man up. He's got the plan. Mm-hmm. And the same thing with all the questions asked before this game. Dan, what's going to happen with this team? Is they're going to bounce back? There's a hot Cardinals team. Dan's like, we're going to play good. We're going to get good practices, and we'll see what happens on the field. And that's exactly what happens.
Mhm.
Like the guy he knows already. It's no surprise to him. He knows his team. This is his team. He knows the pulse of the team, and he knows what buttons to push. And I'm telling you right now, the Lions are 9-0 since 2022 in back-to-back games. Just wrap your head around that for a sec. We were used to the Lions losing 5 or 6 games in a row before they got a win. Now it's expected that when the Lions lose, we're going to win the next game. That is a huge culture shift from the past. And that's all Dan Campbell, y'all. That's all Dan Campbell. Because Dan Campbell doesn't let this team put their heads down. He said, you know what? Let's get back to work and let's figure out what we did wrong. Let's not make the same mistakes and let's get it done. And that's exactly what happens. Right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right. So any quick thoughts, B, before we jump into the box score real quick?
No, but Dan Campbell always tells you, though, after like this game, he said, we still got stuff to clean up.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm right. They still got stuff to clean up. Offensive end. But anyway.
B, like you said, it's only week 3. There's still a lot of issues this team has. But you know what? We're not the only ones. I watched the Chiefs last night. They looked bad for almost a whole game. Yeah. And they found a way to win. You know why? Because good teams find ways to win. Well,
good teams find the refs.
That too, but
that blatant pass interference in the end zone on the Atlanta guy. The dude was hugging him, and he had his whole head turned the other way. Whatever.
For sure, the Kansas City Chiefs are now the Packers, where they get all the calls now. They're like the new
I'm telling
Packers.
you what, right now, if the NFL has a fix in to give Kansas City a three-peat, I don't know if I'm gonna be watching football next year, dude, because that's just cheating. That's blatantly cheating right there, to get what the hell you want.
Man, yeah, I'm usually a Patrick Mahomes apologist because I like him. I think he's the greatest quarterback.
And he is.
That was. I'm always finding a way to defend that team, but you know what? That was as blatant as it gets right there. And
but we've seen that with the Chiefs before. Look at the game before that. They called a PI on the Cincinnati player that led to the Butker field goal. We've seen this before,
that was a little bit more understandable, but this right here is no way you can tell me that wasn't pass interference. And it was like seeing the pass interference calls that they made on Terry and Arnold, and then you look at something like that, and it's like, come on, man, where's the consistency? Where does you draw the line?
You got to look at it like this too. There's a stat that 17 interceptions of Patrick Mahomes got overturned because of pass interference calls, and that's penalties in general, and that's a big ass stat. That is all right. That's a stat that just stacked. That's not a stat that just happened. That happens to a bunch of quarterbacks. That's a stat that happens to him. And like I said, Patrick Mahomes is a good quarterback. Is one of the greatest quarterbacks. He's great. I'm not taking that away from him.
But he does the benefit of the doubt.
But the team itself is the problem that I have. When you have referees making calls in certain situations that aren't they should be making calls taken away, you got to call stuff, man. That's just you're basically that's the NFL just putting it out there and say we can do this whatever we want to. That's the reason why they label themselves as an entertainment industry.
Sure.
That's the reason why they got betting.
Yeah, I definitely do think there's something behind the NFL wanting the Chiefs to get to a three-peat. But you know what? It's not going to matter because we're going to be there to stop it. Just saying.
Let's we hope. I mean, not that we won't be there, but the point is that they don't have the calls going against us. That's the point.
If it happens, those refs better not step into Detroit. That's for sure. All right.
Right. I know.
Egregious calls.
Yeah.
How many times do we have to see these egregious calls, man?
It's just it's more than just the game. It's the betting. It's the Vegas. Yeah. It's all that stuff. Like
that's exactly why.
And I do
to what entertainment industry.
And I do agree that I do think that they do want to see the Chiefs three-peat because no one's ever seen that before in the history. And NFL likes first and things. and this would be something to talk about if it happens. So we'll see. But anyways, we're not Chiefs fans. We're not Falcon fans. Fuck both teams. We're Lions fans, as you see the blue. Or today he's wearing black. But he's wearing Michigan, so no knock on there.
Third go blue. I got to represent for Michigan today.
That's all right. Hey, you got Michigan pride. All right. So we're going to jump into the box score. I'm going to go off some stats here. Y'all tell me after I go over it, tell me what y'all's thoughts are, anything surprising. And then we'll kind of dive into the injury report. Dan gave his presser today and gave us some unfortunate news on some players, some good news on some other players, and we'll talk about it. So real quick, total yards, the Lions had 373. Cardinals had 277. Lions had 186 yards passing. Cardinals 200 yards passing. Lions had 187 yards rushing, 77 to the Cardinals. Yards per play, 5.5 for the Lions, 5.2 for the Cardinals. Lions had 23 first downs. Cardinals were 1 of 9 from third down. Lions were 6 of 12. Let's see. Anything else big? Time of possession, 36 minutes for the Lions, 23 for the Cardinals, and both teams threw interceptions. Lions had 9 penalties. Cardinals had 4. So out of those stats, what really sticks out to you?
I probably have to go with just the total yardage along with the rushing, because last week we seen the Lions struggle heavily on offense, and one of the reasons was they were throwing the ball a lot. That's not really Jared Goff's biggest strength. So we were talking about it all week. We talked about it on the show yesterday about how they just needed to get back to the basics of running the ball. When you got 2 running backs that can average 5.5 yards per carry, that's something that you want to be able to take advantage of, especially on a team like the Cardinals. The Cardinals don't have just like this big juggernaut defense where, they can stop the run, they can stop the pass, and limited what you can do. So I think getting back to the basics, running the ball, controlling time of possession, playing keep away with Kyler Murray was like a big game plan, because that's what the Lions did. Now, you've seen Aiden Hutchinson last week go out there and have 4.5 sacks, which should have been 5 in reality, but he had 4.5 sacks against Baker Mayfield. He only got 1 on Kyler Murray. We knew there was going to be a task containing Kyler Murray, but, they did a good job with playing keep away with Kyler Murray. You made him uncomfortable. You got a sack on him. And when he tried to go to his favorite target, and Marvin Harrison Jr., he only completed the ball to him twice, if I'm not mistaken, right? Terry Arnold, I mean, he went to war with Marvin Harrison Jr. yesterday. So, I mean, I'd say really just running the ball and controlling time of possession, man. That's what it's all about. That's what they did.
Let me add to what you're talking about when you talk about total offense. So last week it was 324 passing to 139 rushing. So real off balance for both sides for the Lions. But this week, this past Sunday, it was only 1 yard difference. Yeah. So you could have called more of a balanced game. And even there was times where we felt that he should have ran more, and we'll kind of get into that too. But just that's a pretty balanced game by Ben Johnson. So, B, what are your thoughts on that box score? Any thoughts?
Well, there's two that stood out to me. They were 1 for 9 on third down conversions.
It's huge.
Really good. Really good.
Yeah, really good.
And then we were 2 for 2 in the red zone.
Yes.
So those 2 were very important to me.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Better from 1 from 7, 2 for 2. We'll take that all day.
Yeah, that was real good. I think that they did run the ball. I just want to say the first half was extremely well offensively.
Yes.
Second half,
still got to figure that one out.
I don't understand what Ben be doing in a second. You're right. We should have scored. I mean, most Lions fans that were watching it that are intelligently involved with the game said we should have scored 30 to 40, 40 points on them, because we, there was so many, like I said, they were 1 for 9 on third downs. We stopped them pretty well. I mean, the only breakaway Marvin Harrison got on us was that touchdown, and that was both Carlton Davis and Brian Branch were playing way out of position. I don't know what the hell happened there, bad communication or what happened.
Right.
But Arnold did a good job on him. Carlton Davis, besides that touchdown, he did a pretty good job too. He
Pretty
came up
solid.
and stopped the run. But yeah, I just
I
those
think
two stats are good.
Yeah, I think as Lions fans, we all wanted to see that big put the play away game. Put the game away play. And we didn't see that.
Plays, yeah. Well, I never understood that either. I mean, last year I understood it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're figuring out stuff. The defense was and the defense was atrocious last year, and except for the run defense, but the offense was beaming, and they were still trying to get stuff together. So I understand it was the second year for Ben Johnson. This year, being a Super Bowl contender, knowing that we have a good defense, I thought Ben Johnson was going to even make better plays in his book, but stick with a scheme where he was running most of the time. You don't. Right. The one part that I did not like is like it's second and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Where the hell are you passing the ball on 2nd and 2 in positive territory? I'm not getting this. You're passing the ball, and then it gets to 3 and 2. You get a short run, and then you don't get the run. You could have had a damn first down on 2nd and 2.
And we've seen Ben Johnson do this in the past. This is not surprising because Ben Johnson, at times when it looks like it's a run situation, he'll pass the ball. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times it's not a completion, and it's like, dude, what are you doing?
To me, though,
you got a 10-point lead.
Dude, you don't trust in your offensive line. I'm not getting that. I mean, they got a whole bunch of rushing yards just between Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, both of them, and they
over almost 200 yards rushing. Yeah,
just like it happened on last week against Tampa Bay, they were running the hell out of the ball. None of them were under 5 yards per carry. They were I think both of them were over 5 yards per carry in this game, and I'm like, if you see that and you know this and you know the run is being effective, run to set up the pass. Let Goff do what he does, and go back there. If you want to pass, do it. Ben just frustrated the hell out.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. I think we're all frustrated with him at times. Let me get to mine. I would say the run defense, and yeah, people go like, well, we're really good at the run defense. Yeah, I get that part. Sure, whatever. You held Kyler Murray to 45 yards rushing, and he only had really hit most of his yards in that first quarter, where you got that big run where Aiden sucked in and he went out because he just set the edge. Outside of that, you didn't hear from Kyler Murray the rest of the game. I think I even texted y'all and said that it's hilarious that the Cardinals almost gave up on trying to run Kyler Murray at all. They didn't want to RPO. They didn't want to run read options. They didn't want to run draws or anything against the Lions. They just wanted him to keep throwing downfield to covered guys. Hey, that's cool. I'm cool with that. I was waiting for Kyler Murray for them to dial something up to creative to get Kyler Murray in more space. Didn't do it. Okay, cool.
You want to throw downfield? What you have to do when you do RPOs, though? You have to be effectively running the ball, just like you do have to do on play action. And 17 yards from James Conner ain't getting it done.
Yeah, man, and that's very important. Like when you look at that, I think it was a few reasons why they didn't do a lot of running with Kyler Murray is because one, he's just coming off an ACL injury. Can't keep risking that, especially against a very good run defense like the Lions.
And he's not a big guy either. You're right. He's not a big guy.
He didn't have many lanes to run through. I mean, a lot of times, Kyler Murray can break away because people either over pursue or he got just a lane he can kind of squeeze through. They didn't do that. And that was one of the things that really surprised me. I know we did well in the passing defense, and I know we kind of like acknowledging how good our run defense is. But against a mobile quarterback, that has always been our Achilles heel.
Sure. Yeah.
They did a good job with that. Like,
we did fantastic, man. 45 yards from Kyler Murray, and all that came in almost the first quarter.
I'm going to be honest with you. Call me a homer, call me whatever you want to, but I don't think Lamar Jackson would have been able to run on that defense yesterday. Just going to be honest with you. It was a bit it was like they had a plan. Yeah. They had a really good plan. Yeah, he's going to eat. He's going to get a few yards, but they didn't let him go out there and run for 100 and something odd yards that they could have done.
Most important stat you just said was the 45 yards, but at the same time, those 45 yards wasn't being flushed out of the pocket. those were designed runs that he got
Yes.
45
Yeah.
yards on.
Exactly.
And they were to the outside. So yeah.
And I think
And then you run a guy like Connor, who ran for over 100 yards last week against the Rams. You held him to what?
17 yards.
17.
Well, that shouldn't surprise you at all, because the Lions have shut down every running back that we've played almost.
Yeah, and that's something that's kind of carrying over from last season, because if you remember when we went up against Bijan, we went up against what's his name in Seattle,
Walker,
Kenneth Walker, and Charbonnet. You held them guys under 60, 70 yards apiece, and that's the formula. When you got a team that can't run the ball and they're forced to pass, that is a great recipe for winning, because you're letting them know that they got to be one-dimensional. Make them one-dimensional.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing with the Lions defense, is what they're doing this year is they're limiting the explosives and they're stopping the run.
Yeah.
You do those two things, you're going to be a top defense.
Yeah.
Because you're keeping everything in front of you and you're making a team one-dimensional. And most of the time when you do that, you're going to win games, because
but at the same time, they can stop the pass now. That's something they wouldn't.
They can.
That's why Seattle beat us last year, because Geno was throwing all over the damn secondary. You can't do that with this Lions team this year. I can't wait to this Monday night game, because it's going to show you the balance. It's like last year we had to run thing, like you said. Last year we had to run things straightened out with Seattle. But then Geno came out there and was like Tom Brady, and that our secondary couldn't recover from that, and that was BS. So this year will be a whole different situation.
Yeah, I agree.
Right on. All right, let's get into some injuries. Fortunately, that's part of the game. So Dan had his presser today, and we're just going to be real quick on this, y'all. So I don't want to talk too much about this, because it is what it is. We got to move on to the next person. Davenport's out for the year, elbow injury. Barnes is out for a good minute, knee injury. Probably is going to be out for the year, I would imagine, because Dan says that he's going to be out for a while and then he might need surgery. So if we get Barnes back, it might be closer to the end of the season. I would probably bet. So those two guys are out for the year. Laporta's day-to-day, thank God. Because that was a nasty play on Laporta. Did y'all see that, where on the Gibbs hook and ladder, the guy hit Laporta, literally cut him from the legs when he was trying to block for the touchdown?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was scary. So, but he's day-to-day. And then BB is day-to-day with a concussion. And who else am I forgetting? Oh, Aleem McNeil, huge one, is day-to-day. So we'll see what happens. But just real quick thoughts. With Davenport being out, Josh Paschal is now going to be the starter. And I don't know if they're going to bring up Awuku or what's going to happen, who they're going to elevate. I think Houston actually might get some burn now, because with Barnes being out, you don't have a Sam linebacker. And the only person who even has a hint of playing Sam is Houston. So unless AG just takes Sam out, I don't know what he's going to do.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Do not do it. Put him at Sam linebacker. Do not do that.
Yeah, but who else are they going to put? Who's the other?
Because somebody's going to step up on that Sam linebacker. It's not going to be. We already know he can't do it. So he's just that's out.
But the thing is with Sam is you have to be able to rush the passer too.
Two options.
Pascal, you could put that there and have him do the same thing.
Possibly. What are your two options?
Two options for you.
What's up?
Either check waivers to see who's out there on waivers, or you start looking at trade spots.
It's too early right now.
We
still got about 3 or 4 weeks for the trade deadline.
Listen, I get that, but look, you're a Super Bowl contending team now.
Yeah, but the Lions don't panic. We've talked about this. They believe in who they have. Like Dan said that again.
I agree, but we can't always go with that motto of we just like our guys, because every Super Bowl contending team is going to bring on some new talent and new piece that can elevate that team, put them over the top. The Lions haven't made that type of move since Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have been in office. While I like their draft picks, I like some of their free agency signings, you still got to make trades. You still have to show that, you know what, if you say you can get better, if you say you want to clean up some things, go out and get some of these players out there that you that you may need to put you over the top. You know, we were talking about DJ Reader. Think about this, Nate. We were talking about DJ Reader, and I'm like, you know what? DJ Reader, he's going to be good, especially if he can stay healthy all season. But you want him at the end of the season. You need him in late December, early January. You want him in those pivotal games right there.
Right.
And right now, somebody on a trade block that we talked about him recently in the past. Man, Hassan Reddick, go out there.
Yeah. But he's not on the team, bro. That's the thing is we can't talk about people that aren't on the team.
Listen,
you got to go who you have right now.
I understand that, but that's a name that's out there. That's not playing.
Sure. And I guarantee you, Brad Holmes has made calls. I guarantee you, Brad Holmes has got his ear to the ground about what's going on with Hassan. Of course he does, dude. Come on. Every GM is tied to every player in the NFL.
I surely hope so. But really quick, and I don't want to take too much time up from it because I'm gonna give you guys a chance. But I don't always think the motto of we like our guys and we're just going to stick with our guys is the way you win, because I don't think that anybody in recent history can name a time where that has just worked and it's like you're going to go and do something. You need more players. You need more depth. This is a 17-week game. 17.
Well, of course, but that's why you have a deeper practice squad now. That's why you have I get it. I think the Lions will go and get the right player if it's the right fit. Now, yeah, you could say Hassan Reddick's the right fit. Sure, yeah, he is. He would be perfect for the Sam. He'd be perfect to set the edge and all that. But I'm gonna tell you right now, the Lions they're not desperate right now for a pass rusher. The fan base is desperate for a pass rusher. But the thing is that if the Lions go calling to the Jets, the price just went up for Hassan Reddick. Okay.
That's fine.
Because they know that we need a guy and they have a guy. So whatever the asking price was yesterday is going to be higher today for him because they know that the Lions are now in need of a pass rusher.
Yeah, and that's fine. I don't think that's really a big deal.
I mean, but you're basing it off assumptions. That's not an assumption. That shouldn't be an assumption that they're going to ask for a. If they're trying to get rid of the guy, they're getting rid of the guy.
They would already.
They probably won't part with more than a third round pick, but the Lions give them a third round 2025 or 2026 pick. That's been up there. They're going to get rid of him. No doubt.
He's just sitting. You think they're going to ask for first, second round pick for a guy that's just sitting? I don't think that.
I don't know, man. If they really want to get rid of him, they would have got rid of him already.
I just don't. I agree. I think there are a lot more to it than just saying, hey, you know what? Because you're now in the third, fourth week of the season. You're going into the fourth week of the season. Yeah. He hasn't played a game. He hasn't played it down. He ain't practicing. He's not doing any of that stuff. When you look at somebody like Chris Jones last season, it only took one game for them to work out that deal because they knew how valuable he was.
I think they're holding on to him to see when the trade deadline comes. And if he doesn't get traded by the trade deadline, then
they want to
that makes no sense to me.
And they want to see that if they
trade
him,
exactly.
Where could you trade him where you could possibly get a return that can benefit you now as well? Because
the Jets are just a bunch of idiots. That's all they are. That whole damn. They're a bunch of idiots.
But the reality is the Lions aren't going to trade this early for a player, and the Jets aren't going to trade a player this early. It's just not going to happen. They're going to wait till the trade deadline. They're going to kick the tires right to the deadline and see who comes up with the best offer. That's usually how it works.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. But if I'm Brad Holmes, I'm on the phone right now. I'm calling up their owner, their GM, saying, "Man, come on! I know you don't want his."
I'm sure he has, man. I'm sure he has. He's not a dumbass.
He's probably talking to Reddick himself.
Yeah.
So, dude, if you come in here, we'll pay you. We're not going to be like the Jets.
You got some money because think about it, fellas. You got Hutchinson right now that is having a monster season through the first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's not for the Aiden Hutchinson that he got to take on the bulk of all of that stuff because let's be honest, you can't trust Pascal because he's injured a lot as well. Who else you got over there? Ukwu?
Good. I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you real quick because this was brought up earlier on the ticket, and they brought a great point up. This Hutchinson, the facade that Hutchinson needs help on the other side is not all true, because the reality is that he can get help on all parts of the D line, and that's what they did. Bringing in Reader is helping Hutch. Having Aleem McNeil taking a step forward is helping Hutch. You brought in Davenport for a game that kind of helped touch a little bit, but just because you bring another pass end doesn't mean that that's all Hutch needed. He needed interior push. And you're seeing that with the Lions, that the Lions are finally getting that interior push, whether it's with McNeil, whether it's Onwuzurike, whether it's with Reeder. They're getting that push in the middle. And that's huge because as a quarterback, if you cannot step up in the pocket because of the interior pressure, where are you going to go?
I agree with that. But what happens when you have a team that you're going to come across that's going to plan for Aiden Hutchinson, that can plan for these people?
Well, no one's had a plan for him yet, bro, and he's played some pretty good tackles.
I totally agree with you on that, but there has to be somebody else on the opposite side of Hutchinson, especially with the departure of Marcus Davenport due to his injury. There's no other way
around. His name's Josh Pascal, man. He needs to step up. It's just that simple.
I can't say that I'm fully confident in Pascal.
And that's fine. You're not the coach. Dan loved how he played. He loved how he played. He made that very clear.
He loved how he played, though, Nate. He wouldn't have gotten Davenport, right? James Houston is still there. Kaminsky would have started, right? If Pascal was that guy, they wouldn't have had to do any of that stuff.
Right, but what I'm saying is when he got put into the situation in this game, he played well. He held his own. That's what I'm saying. It's only one game. Yeah. We'll have to see how it's going forward because, like I said, you have to see what Josh has or you bring up somebody else before you go trade.
That's the part that's a little bit scary. And I agree. I agree that you would say, hey, let's see what we got. But right now, we're in a tight race. I know it's still beginning of the season, but you're in a tight race. You're tied with Green Bay. Minnesota Vikings are a game ahead of us. Everybody is going to get better. I don't want to see what we have right now. I want to be able to say, you know what? I know I got this player here. I know that this guy has been here for 3-4 years, and I know what I'm going to get out of him.
Yeah, but you can't hit the panic button so early, bro. Like what B was saying the last game. You can't be freaking out 3 weeks into the season. If we're 8 weeks into the season and the Lions are 500, then yeah, you make a move. But we're 2-1. We haven't even played our best ball right now. That's the one thing.
Because the past 4 years that they have been here, all I've heard is I like our guys. That's great. You like your guys.
And it's worked. It's worked. That's what I'm trying to say. It's worked. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Well, they still traded for guys. They still traded for guys, and they still brought in guys. They brought in DJ Reeder. They brought in Davenport. Sure. They brought in Ziegler, who, by the way, is probably
they find guys that fit what they need.
Whatever you say all you want about DJ Reeder, but Ziegler is their best free agent signing so far. Dude's been at the top of the PFF.
Yeah.
He hasn't let up a sack. He's got like the least pressures on there, and that's with Sewell on the line. Okay, so and then on top of that, you got to remember something. In every championship team, no matter what sport it is, and I'll give you a couple examples. All right. First of all, remember the Pistons, the 2003, 2002.
Yes, sir.
What happened when they got Larry Brown? Didn't they trade for Rasheed Wallace?
Sure did.
Instant championship. You know why? Because Rasheed Wallace was a scorer. He was what the Pistons needed in that situation. He was that missing piece.
Yep.
Same thing for San Francisco. San Francisco traded for CMC. They got him in the Super Bowl. Granted, they didn't win a Super Bowl, but he was the one that got them to that point because they were having a hard time really getting there. So, I mean, you can't put away the thought that the Lions needed to trade. And to Jay's point, if they felt confident in Pascal, Houston, or anybody on that side of the line, they wouldn't have went out there and got rabbit ass Davenport. Okay. It was a reach. That was a freaking reach. Okay.
I agree.
And I'm like, dude, they probably talked to Hunter too. They probably talked to Daniil Hunter. They probably said, dude, and he probably just won. Well, I don't know if it was. I don't know. He wasn't way out of the league. We could have afforded him. But the point of the matter is, he didn't want to play here. He wanted to play in Houston, because that's his hometown.
Well, that's
So it's like, different players got different reasons to go places. They don't always have to take the contract. And Houston's an up and coming team, just like the Lions. So he really wasn't losing a base of.
And they didn't have a premier pass rusher over there,
right? Well, they did. They had Will Anderson. But the point of the matter is, Yeah, he is. He's pretty much.
RoboCop.
He was a rookie. He was a defensive rookie of the year last year.
Yeah, but what's he done this year? What's he done this year?
He's done plenty.
Oh, he's good.
Let's see. Let me look.
Yeah,
at
he's done plenty.
Let me see how many sacks he has.
Will Anderson, RoboCop.
And it's still third game of the season, third week of the season anyway.
But he's not a guy like Hutch, is what I'm saying. He's not a guy like Hutch.
There is nobody like Hutch. He leads the league in sacks. There's T.J. Watt isn't even like Hutch now.
That's my point. That's my point. That's why he went to Houston, because it was an up-and-coming team, and they needed a premier pass rusher, and he was going to be that premier pass rusher. He knew he could beat out Will.
They have a premier pass rusher in Will Anderson. Trust me.
Yeah.
They wanted to bookend. They wanted to do what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
That's basically they did what we wanted to do first.
Yes.
They had one good pass rusher on one side, and they had a pass rusher on the other side that can do the same thing.
I get it.
They just beat us to it, and basically it didn't beat us to it. It's just that he wanted to play there first. That's all. It's no big deal.
And that's the thing about free agency. That's the thing about free agency. The player doesn't care who has the most money. It's where they want to go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of times it is the money, but they want to go where they want to go. You know. And that was it. So, yeah, listen, let's just put a bow on this real quick. All I'm going to say about this is the Lions will make the right moves when they feel like they need to make the right moves. And this franchise does not panic, because if you look at the last 3 years, they've stuck to their guns on everything, and they've gotten better every year. You can't argue with results. I think as Lions fans, we get impatient because the expectations are heightened now, and I understand that. Mm-hmm. But this team and franchise has a plan. And damn it, it's worked. So I'm going to leave it the way it is. They go and trade for Hassan, great. I'll welcome them with open arms. This defense will be even more stout. But until that happens, we got Josh, we got Houston, we got Aruku if they bring him up. We got to rock with D-Half, man. That's it.
I'm with you.
They still got Wingo out there too. Wingo's out there.
Yeah, Wingo. Yeah, Wingo played well too. At the
Wingo,
yeah,
he played pretty good.
Far exceeded my expectations. I didn't think that he'd make an impact, but a lot of times when you see a quarterback under duress, he's right there. I'm like, that's no way.
Dude, if you watched him at LSU, listen, there's a reason why the number 18 is so sacred at LSU.
Yeah.
Because when you wear the number 18, you're a baller. You're damn good. Yeah. And that's what Wingo was wearing. I saw this guy because I'm an SEC country down here. This guy can play, bro. That was a steal.
You know something? I'm watching the TV like this is no way. There's no way that this is the same guy. A lot of people say it was undersized. They're too slow. Couldn't do certain things. No good.
He is undersized, but he's quick.
Guy is a beast. Let him develop a little bit more. He's learning from the best. I mean, sit behind a Lane McNeil and DJ Reader. Come on, man.
I'm gonna tell you something about smaller D tackles, man. Just watch Aaron Donald. Everybody said that about Aaron Donald when he came in the draft. The guy's too small. He's not going to do well. He's going to get beat off his ass. Generational player. I'm not saying he's Aaron Donald, but I'm just saying
it's all about that. It's all about that chip on your shoulder too.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Amon St. Brown has made a living off of that. Sure, and he got picked in the 4th round, and he knows every receiver that was taken before him. If that doesn't tell you that's perseverance, you know that's the kind of players that the Lions get. That I know I expect them to get them type of players.
Exactly. And they're gonna get the right players that fit their culture and fit what they need. They're not gonna just get a player because everybody says they need to get a player.
And then another thing about these injuries. Now, yeah, we all, you know, like I said, I tell everybody calm down about what it's only the 3rd week, blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. Injuries happen to football players every game, every freaking game. I've coached. I haven't played at that level, but I've played in high school. So I know how injuries affect things. And I've coached with injuries affect things.
Sure.
But at the same time, these are things like bumps and bruises. When Dan Campbell says bumps and bruises, that's exactly what the F they are. Bumps and bruises. Like the Sam Laporta thing, don't get that blown out of proportion. Okay. Sam Laporta had a worse injury last year.
I get it.
And he played through all the playoffs. You just don't
want anything to get worse than what it is.
Well, I mean, we can't. These are football players. You don't treat these guys with kid gloves. It ain't gonna happen. The only person that you would treat with kid gloves is your quarterback.
You sound like a coach. I'll say that. You sound like a coach because that's exactly what a coach would say.
you treat quarterbacks with kid gloves because they are your franchise. There's not too much behind him. Like, you don't have that much depth behind him. Like we talk about Green Bay's Jordan Love all the time, and these Green Bay fans, oh, he's going to come back. I said, don't rush that guy. Malik is actually doing a pretty good job. I'm kind of surprised at how he's playing, but he's doing a very good job.
They say the Titans.
Keep your quarterback, your franchise quarterback, healthy as long as you possibly can, because I'm telling you, they don't last that long. And
one thing I don't worry about with this Lions franchise is they don't rush players back if they're not ready. They're not. I mean, Dan's been a player himself. He's been injured. He's been hurt. There's a difference. Like, as a coach, you know that, B, right? There's an injury and hurt are two different things. Everybody's hurt, but if you're injured, you don't need to be playing until you're fully ready.
Well, that's exactly why people get put on the. This is exactly why Davenport's not going to be playing for the rest of the season, and we don't know the status on Barnes.
Barnes is injured. Yeah, exactly.
Those are the things that you worry about. If a player goes out and they're going to be out for a significant long time, yes. But these day-to-day injuries that everybody goes free. Oh, you see him get hit on that play? Man, Amon Brown probably's got so many damn bumps and bruises by now from just playing in his position that, like I said, at the end of the season, players don't usually end up 70%.
I remember watching the receiver and just having more respect for players' injuries, because what they do after the game's over, how they're barely walking, you don't see that. All you see is them getting in front of the podium, laughing, joking, having a good time. But you rarely ever see a player walking with a boot or walking with a limp or something like that. And usually the media is the one that reports that to scare the shit out of everybody as a fan base. Oh my God, Amon-Ra's in a boot. What's going on? Is he going to be out for a while? That's another thing about Dan Campbell. He doesn't panic. Hey, he's a football player, man. He knows what's up. He knows his players. And sometimes he knows what's going on.
You got to realize some of these players too, they are in pain. They can laugh and joke all they want in front of you. Do the song and dance, but they're probably in pain too, sitting there laughing. And they go and tell you that's just the part of their sport. That's all that is. It's football.
All right. Well, we spent enough time on injuries, more than I want to. So the fact is that two of our better players are going to be okay. So that's good. We wish the best of luck to the Davenport and Barnes. Hopefully they can make a speedy recovery at some point. So we'll see what happens there. All right, let's talk about, let's go with concerns. Any concerns that y'all have from the last game or right now from what we've seen so far? I'll let y'all go first, whoever wants to go first.
I do have a concern.
Okay.
One of my concerns is Terry Arnold. I think he's playing really good. I think he's playing for a rookie receiver that's being thrown out there into the fire. I think he's doing really well. One thing that concerns me is, when are the NFL referees going to let him play? Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that they're cheating and they're trying to make the Lions lose, but it seemed like any time that he gets into a battle with the receiver, they're just going to throw at least one penalty on him. Like, he has to have a penalty. And I get it that he gets physical, but it's never anything that's just glaring, like, oh my God, you pulled the receiver down and holding on to the receiver like that cornerback from Kansas City did yesterday. That's a huge concern for me, because that's going to kill his confidence. But really quick, I think that's going to kill his confidence, because you're letting him know. I said this yesterday. You're kind of making him change everything about himself that got him this far into the pros. Now, I know there's going to be things that they are like, they can let go or something. But what I'm saying is, Terry Arnold has to go out here and change everything about himself, because the refs are calling a penalty on him, and he can't even play like he used to. You don't think so, B?
Not in the least.
Right.
If he feels that way, he shouldn't be a corner. First of all. Second of all, they didn't allow him get rid of that stuff in college either. You got to watch some of his games. He got hand, I want to.
He's a very physical cornerback.
He's a physical corner.
Yes.
What it is, you got to understand something about refereeing and rookies. The referees don't know nothing about that player because he's a rookie. So the referees do have game film that they watch too, believe it or not. Some of them do. And so they watch these guys. and they'll get used to their play style, and then you'll see those calls significantly go down as time goes on. But in your rookie season, 50-50 calls are not going to get going for the rookie. It's not going to happen because they're not used to that physical play by that corner.
I'll go a step further than what you said, B2, is that in the NFL is kind of like the NBA. Okay. When you watch an NBA game, certain players get certain calls, whether it's against them or for them. And why is that? Because referees talk. Surprising. They talk about, oh, he's going to travel. Oh, he likes to push off with his arm. Oh, he likes to do this and that. Be aware. So they already have a microscope on those players. I'm telling you right now, the scouting report on Terrion Arnold is he's handsy, he's physical. He does the right things. He's got the right technique. He'll turn his head and all that. But watch his hands. He's just very handsy with the receiver. If he turns that receiver around, we're going to call it. If it looks like the play is being impeded, we're going to call it. So the thing with Terrion is that Terrion has to understand that you have to adjust somewhat to the refs, but not change your game. And AG's been very clear about that in his presser, saying, listen, I'm not going to tell him anything. I just let him be himself, because once I tell him to stop being so aggressive, you lose the dog. And Terrion Arnold's a dog. He's going to be a good fucking cornerback in this league. I'm telling you right now. You can see it. I mean, he shut down Marvin Harrison after that PI call. You know, and I'm hoping, and I said this in the text, I'm hoping that was the light bulb that went off. That he finally realized, like, guys, I think I know how they're going to call it. Because when the player knows how they're going to call it, you're already a step above the ref.
Well, I don't think that I think it's just a process that rookies just go through in general. I don't think it's anything that they learn from the referees, because they have this is what they have training camp for. There's refs at the training camp, and they'll tell them what they're going to call.
Sure,
it's just
but every crew is different. We know that.
You notice the fact that Carlton Davis got a PI.
Yeah.
So it's not for him. He got a, you know, he got a call on Marvin Harrison because Marvin Harrison, you know, the media just jumps him up as, you know, oh, he's Marvin Harrison Jr. and he's the son of Marvin Harrison, blah, blah,
right,
blah.
Exactly, yeah. He's got the name behind
So I mean, that's why playing that position is the most difficult in the NFL, because you have to go through so many things. You got to know the routes of the receivers. You got to know what the quarterback is thinking. Yeah. You got to know certain plays on the offense of their offense, so you know what to look for. On top of that, you have to battle the referees too, because you know there's certain things that you want to do. Like Terrion Arnold, he's physical. He wants to put his hands on it, and I'm telling you what. If I'm Dan Campbell, I wouldn't give a damn about them PI.
Ooh.
I mean, here's the thing. As long as the PIs aren't happening in the end zone where you put your ball right at the 1 yard line, I'm okay with that. Did we lose B? B, you there? I think you might have lost B. But Jay, but here's the thing. What he was saying, I'll look at it this way. If you, I'm going to roof him because that's a funny face. I'm going to start laughing. Okay. If you give up a PI in the red zone, that's huge, because those are points that you are literally giving up to the team. But if it's a PI that is going to give you 15 free yards and you save a touchdown, I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I kind of want B to come back because he's been a coach. But what do you tell your players if you're coaching that position? What advice do you give them without taking away from what they do best?
I'll tell them to keep to their game, like stay a part of the stay.
Right, but
keep the plan.
Do you ignore the fact that they are getting PIs, or do you just kind of say, "Hey guys, just be smarter with how you place your hands"? I think it's all about the hands.
Yeah,
Carlton Davis, and Terry Arnold, two very aggressive.
It's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope, Nate. Because when I look at it, I'm thinking that when you look at
welcome back.
Hey, there you go. When you look at Terry Arnold is like you said, they got film on him. Reps got film on him. Other teams got film on him. They know he's a rookie corner, so they're going to pick on him as much as possible because you're a rookie.
And on top of that, yeah, exactly. You're barbecue chicken out there for quarterbacks.
When you look at a guy like Terry Arnold, it's like I'm not saying that he has to change his game. I'm more so concerned with, will these penalties make him change his game? Because he's getting penalty at crucial moments. If you remember, he got a penalty against Tampa Bay last week and ended for a touchdown, right? That very next play or a couple plays later, they went for a touchdown. Kind of the same in this situation here. I mean, he's getting that Marvin Harrison Jr. and
that's why
the PI.
That's why I'm kind of saying that I hope the light bulb went off with him in this last game, because when he got that PI, he was lights out after that, man. Marvin Harrison didn't even sniff a ball for almost the whole game.
First of all, it's week 3, guys. Second of all, it's a rookie. And then he's learning, and that's the other thing you got to understand. He's got veteran leadership back there, although Branch is only his second year, but it doesn't make a difference.
Very young secondary.
And you got Carlton Davis on the other side. So, I mean, and like I say, these things will he's not going to lose his confidence because of this.
No, I don't think. He's a very confident guy. He's not going to lose that at all.
There's no lights that are going to go off because his lights already been off. You know what I'm saying? It's just the fact that he's just adjusting to the NFL game, and that's most rookies got to do that in their first 3 or 4 or 5 games. They're going to be like that. So you just got to have patience with them.
But one thing I will say is that after that PI, he was pretty clean the rest of the game. I didn't have any faults with him at all.
Yeah, I think
even when he got hurt, he came back out there.
Yeah, that's true. And I think Aaron Glenn and the DB coach is going to just sit him down and kind of make him work a little bit more and basically just better himself. And I hope he doesn't change, because Nate, you made a valid point. When you tell a rookie, especially a rookie like him that's high powered, that got that dog in him, when you tell them to change their whole style,
you're taking the dog away from him. Yeah.
Right. That was like the same with Justin Fields having to change his whole quarterback style when he went to Chicago. They literally took the whole element away from Justin Fields and just made him one-dimensional. So, I agree with you on that. I just hope it doesn't shape his confidence and kind of pull him back, because Terry Arnold, he has a chance to be one of the top, I'd say top 5 best corners in the game with his potential. Not saying that he is, but just with his potential, his mentality, and with the help of the DBs that we got, Kirby Joseph. Man, how good is Kirby Joseph? That pick he had, man, in the end zone was just... That's
just Kirby being Kirby.
It was crazy.
He's got better hands than some receivers do.
It was crazy. Yeah, man. It was crazy. But, Terry.
Let me just say this about Terry real quick, and we're gonna I'll ask B if you have any concerns, and we'll wrap this segment up. He's going to get plenty of opportunity, because every quarterback that has a brain knows you either go after Carlton Davis, who's a pro, who's been in the league a minute, been in the Super Bowl, or you're going to go after the rookie who's never been in the NFL. It's an easy call. So he's going to get plenty of opportunity. So I think we're going to see the maturation of Tyrion very quickly, because when you're good, you adjust and you figure it out. And
he's a smart guy.
Exactly. Yeah, he is. I mean, he came from Alabama, like under Saban. That's played the same position.
And I'm sure the cornerbacks coach is Deshae Townsend is telling him that every second of the time he's out there. He's like, dude, they're going to go after you, so be prepared. Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, because if you see, Terry Arnold don't even get beat. He don't get beat. Mm-mm. It's just his hands. They call him for hands and grabbing. And
when you're physical, that's what happens, man. Refs look at you a lot closer when you're a physical cornerback.
Yeah, that's one thing that's promising. When you see Terry Arnold out there, he's right there in the back pocket of that receiver. No matter where they are, he's right there. Got their back pocket. When you look last year and you rewind back, 6, 7, 8 months ago, and you seen Cam Sutton just getting burnt. Pulling jerseys, getting burnt. You seen Vildor getting burnt, getting Jacobs getting killed. I mean, one thing that I still remember is when Aiden Hutchinson jumped off sides. This was in Chicago now. Jumped off sides, got the free. Chicago got the free play, and then DJ Moore scores that touchdown.
Yeah,
That
I
haunts
remember
me
that
to this
play.
day still,
Yeah.
because that was crazy. Brandon Jacobs got burned. You got burned.
Jerry
You
Jacobs.
don't see
Jerry
that from
Jacobs.
our cornerbacks now.
Right.
You don't see that
Let-
with our safety. Go ahead, Nate. I don't want to.
No, yeah, I was just gonna say with Terry, and the physicality is gonna matter this coming matchup because he's probably gonna go against DK at some point. And I'd be shocked if they call PI against DK because DK is a man. That's a man right there.
Yeah, I don't.
You know, he'll probably throw Terry in and get a call OPI himself. You know, that's going to be fun to watch.
It depends what DK shows up. DK, I'm not a big DK Metcalf fan.
Yeah.
I was when he came out because he had all the makings of being the next Calvin Johnson. Really, he has the physical attributes and the speed, but he's lazy as fuck. He is. He's just a lazy ass fucking receiver. Dude, you get him out of that. You can mentally get him out of a game. And then you can mentally get him out of the game. He ain't shit. And then that's why Lockett gets thrown to so much because DK is not always mentally in the game. So I don't worry about Metcalf. If they put Arnold on Metcalf, I think that'd be a good thing for Arnold.
But that's what I'm alluding to is that if you want to see physicalness, you're going to need to be physical with a guy like DK because he's a bigger receiver, and you're not going to have to worry about PIs on DK because the guy's 6'5". He'll probably throw you to the ground half the time, or he'll probably outjump you. But what I'm saying is, if you want to see Arnold be physical, that's the matchup you want to see it, not against some weak ass small receiver. A guy like DK Metcalf, that's the physicality you're going to see that he's going to see. But anyways, let's move on. B, you have any concerns about the last game?
The only concern I have is the always concern that's been going for the last 3 weeks is Ben freaking Johnson. Yeah. That's it. He needs to get better, man. He just needs to get better.
The short yardage is confusing. I don't understand why you're throwing a short yardage when you got the best.
He did that so many times. I mean, in the first half, dude was awesome play calling, but it's like he got hit with the dumb stick in the second half. It was like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Yeah. You were doing so well in the first half. Why did you go away from that?
I'm telling you, we were up by 10 points and we're waiting for that kill shot, and it never happened. The defense made the kill shot.
And that's those separate. See, this is the reason why the Lions will get a lot of pressure put on them this year, because people really still don't fear the Lions. I mean, they know they're a good team and they're going to grind and grit it out, but they don't fear them like that. They don't fear them like, oh, they might put a 30 burger or 50 burger on.
Yeah, they know that the game's going to be close. They're going to keep them in the game.
Yeah, because Ben Johnson's going to keep them close because he calls all these stupid plays when they shouldn't be called. It's mind racking that this guy is brilliant in one half of the game, and then I don't know what happens. I don't know if he doesn't eat a Snickers or something. Something happens.
Let me say this about the Lions in general is that when this defense and this offense get on the same page, y'all ain't nobody stopping us. All right. This is period. Because if you look at last year, we could say the same thing about the defense. The offense put up 40 points a game. Offense gave up 40 points a game. And the offense just had to bail the defense out at times. You know, their defense did play good in some games for sure. I'm not going to take that away. But this year, the defense is playing lights out. Offense is playing like half a quarter, half a half. You know, so can we all just get on the same page and play complimentary football? Fuck. Is it that too much to ask?
I guess it is for Ben.
All right. All right. Enough of the doom and gloom. Let's go to the positives. Give me y'all's biggest take from the game and give me your MVP.
MVP, Amon-Ra St. Brown. 7 receptions. What do you have? Like
huge freaking catch at the end. Huge.
And he got a touchdown. And on top of that, he caught the ball and he kind of flipped it to.
Yeah, executed the hook and ladder, baby.
That was unbelievable, man. You know, I was in my phone and then I looked up and I seen it happen. I was like, holy crap. I couldn't even react to it because it was so crazy. But I'm on the Ra, man. I'll say all of them because I want to give them all their due credit. Amon-Ra stood out a lot, man, and it was.
You can never go wrong with the Sun God, man. Even if he doesn't have a big game, he makes the big plays when it matters the most, and that's all you need.
Yep.
What you got, B? Who was your MVP and your biggest take?
Oh, my MVP was Montgomery.
Montgomery, yeah.
Monty,
did you see the meme when he was like getting held by the line? They were playing that "I Believe You Can Fly" song. Oh, I love that. That was awesome.
He had 23 rushes for 105 yards and a touchdown at a 4.6 average clip. The one where we gotta give Jahmyr Gibbs his co-MVP on this one too, because you remember that one where the whole line lifted him up and carried him past the first down. That was awesome.
What I'm saying.
He was like up in the air, and he was like, I don't know whether to kick my feet.
He said he felt like he was flying. It's crazy.
He was like, I don't know whether to kick my feet or make sure that I can come down on both my feet because everybody lifted me up. But I mean, the run game in general was the MVP, and as long as they kept doing that, that was good. I mean, they got 88 yards between the two of them. Think about what happens if he wasn't acting. If Ben Johnson was acting like he was supposed to. And got somebody, they would have had like 300 yards rushing.
Yeah. What's up, Jay?
I'm gonna make my exit. I gotta go run some errands, but all right, buddy. Leave one final thought. Yeah, man. David Montgomery did good, and dude, they picked him up and carried him that offensive line, and they carried him for that first down.
Literally. Yeah.
That's just something that you can't teach. You don't teach stuff like that. You have to really execute. Everybody have to be on the same page. And that's one thing that's good about the Lions. That's why I say I give them all their due credit, because that's called syncing together. That's called synergizing, being on the same page, being able to do something like that when you were stopped for not a loss, but short yardage, but you're able to just push your running back, carry him, and gain extra yardages, man. You cannot teach stuff like that.
That's why you pay those guys big money, man, because you want them to push everybody out of the way and create those holes for those running backs to get.
Yes, sir. But I'm gonna leave y'all on that. Stay classy.
All right, buddy. We'll see you. We'll see you Sunday.
Yes, sir. You will.
All right. Or yeah. I forgot we're playing Monday night. God, I hate these primetime games. Okay. So about Monty, the funny thing is, I think a lot of people forgot about Monty. Everybody was all on Gibbs, and should be. Gibbs is going to be a fantastic running back, but people forgot about Monty, and I almost think he's running angry this year because he wants people to know, like, hey, y'all, I'm still here. Gibbs is a fucking phenomenal running back, but y'all, he ain't stopping. He ain't getting in front of me yet. I'm still here, and I'm not going anywhere. And I'm glad you said that, because I think right now the offensive MVP is Monty right now for this team. I wholeheartedly agree with your MVP, because I think that he's run hard, he's run smart. His vision is amazing. Like, that's one thing I think Gibbs really could learn from Monty is his vision. I think Gibbs still needs to get better with his vision. I think he kind of dances a little too much, but man, Monty just puts his foot in the ground and goes.
Well, that's because Monty is that kind of a running back. Gibbs is an outside the tackles running back.
But he's getting better at the inside tackles too.
He's got to. Well, he's getting, his vision isn't bad. Gibbs' vision isn't bad at all. I saw it last year when they played Tampa Bay in the playoffs.
He's definitely
he found them blocks really well, and there was a cutback that he did in the middle of the line that he could get.
Sure.
I think Monty is. I think the Lions in general are trying to put Monty in control of that situation as well, because I think they don't want him to think that he's being disrespected by everybody, even on his own team, that he matters. Monty matters.
Yeah, he sets the tone.
Monty
he sets the tone
matters.
for that run game. He sets the tone for the run game. No doubt about it. Let me ask you a question, because I was kind of thinking about this about Monty. Do you think you give him another contract?
Yeah, I would, in a heartbeat.
Okay. I agree with you.
I mean, to look at it, we're talking really well about him now. He was always really good in Chicago. He was one of the best offensive things that they had going in Chicago.
Yeah.
I used to hate playing Chicago just because we had to go against Monty all the time.
Very true. Very true.
And that's and I didn't care about anybody else on that team but Monty. And he's been very consistent over his years as being a running back. He does make a very good parallel to Jameer. So I mean,
they work really well with each other.
Yes, they do. They work really well with each other.
Yeah,
so
and looking at his stats right now, just for the season, he's got 51 attempts, 231 yards, 4.5 average, 3 touchdowns. So if he stays on pace, he's going to easily get 1,000 yards, probably over 10 touchdowns. So, I mean, the Lions have showed that they'll pay their players that do well. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think that definitely if you're serious about the run game and you're serious about keeping the run as the number one focus, you've got to pay the dudes that get you there. And they've already took care of their line. They'll probably extend Ziegler, which is a good idea too, for a couple more years, and then bring it and then keep Monty and Ja in the same backfield for the next 3 or 4 years, and then slowly bring on Sion. So yeah, I'm with you. So my MVP is actually Terrion Arnold, and I'll tell you why. Is because when he got hurt, I was worried because the next person would have been Vildor. And Vildor is not the most popular person in Detroit, unfortunately. But the fact is that if Terrion doesn't come back in that game, I don't know if that passing defense is able to stop Kyler Murray if they take those shots. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they don't. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, like, Terrion played on that bum knee a little bit, came back in and played lights out. And that tells me all I need to know about the young guy, that he doesn't want to get out of the game. He's going to do whatever he can to get out there and play. The dude's a baller, and he played awesome. I think he held, like, Marvin Harrison had, like, 3 catches for, like, 50 yards. His completion rating was, like, under 50. Dude, Marvin Harrison's going to be a damn good receiver. I'm telling you right now. Like, you saw the movie made on Carlton Davis. Yeah, they were out of placement, but that was a veteran move that he got inside on Carlton Davis and just got to the pylon and toe tapped it. Like, that, this guy's going to be good, the fact is,
like I said, that was both on Brian Branch, who usually doesn't make many bad plays as a safety or nickel anywhere he plays, but to have them both out of there, either as an attribution to Marvin or it's an attribution that they need to communicate better in the backfield because he was at least 2 or 3 yards ahead of both of them. I saw the route that he ran. It was a very simple route, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, it was a corner.
So
route,
I'm not. So that's the reason why I'm hesitant in giving Marvin all the credit for that, because that was a simple route. I just think there was a miscommunication between Carlton Davis and Branch, and it's like, dude, you got what? Hey, hold on, he's got. That kind of thing. It's like, damn, he went past.
And you can't give the inside on a receiver
anytime
because and my biggest take, honestly, from the game was the containment of Kyler Murray, because when we talked about it in the pregame, I said that I don't want the Lions to run like hell to the quarterback, because any other quarterback, that's fine. You made it the quarterback, you sack him, you get a loss, you're good. But with Kyler Murray, you can't do that, because if you lose edge containment, that dude's going to run out and just go the distance. And Aiden was the big person in this game that I give a lot of kudos to, because it had to have been hard for him to not want to try to sack the quarterback. But he knew that if he did that, he was going to lose containment on Kyler Murray, and there would be times that he might get him and might times he might not get him. And he sacrificed sacks in order to get the win. And that's what matters the most to him. And I love that, because people are like, oh, he only had 1 sack. Yeah, there's a reason why. Because the whole game plan was to contain Kyler Murray, not sack him. Because they knew that most of the time, if they tried to sack him, they were going to lose.
I love how he tried to blow up that tackle he was going up against. It's like, he had 13 and he stopped him all this time, and he only had a 11% pressure.
Because Aiden's going like 75%.
Contained. Yeah, exactly. And then at one time that he actually tried to go after the quarterback, he got a sack. So I mean, and you see that whole play
Yeah.
when he got the sack, it was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, I got another sack. Well,
Dude, that spin move, he's got a little Dwight Freeney spin move. He's been watching
Yeah.
Dwight Freeney. I can see that. That's starting to become a signature of him, and I love it. So yeah, that's my biggest take is containing Kyler Murray, because if you can contain Kyler Murray and make him a passer, you're gonna win the game, because that is not where Kyler wants to be. That's what they want him to be, but as a defense, that's where you want him to be. You want him throwing balls to cover people. You want him taking shots to absolutely nobody and throwing inaccurate passes, because that's what he does. He's gonna get cocky sometimes and throw one up there, and sure enough, just like I said,
I told you
Kirby
that.
read it.
I told you this during the post-game show. I mean, the pre-game show. I said, yeah, we're going up against a hot Arizona team. I said, no, they went against one of the worst defenses at the time because they were injured. Come on now. This is the Detroit Lions. I am not worried about their defense.
You did say that.
I'm not worried about their defense.
The hot part came with the scoring, man. That was a pretty good clip that they were scoring at a rate. 30 points a game.
They didn't play. And Buffalo wasn't that. And Buffalo has defensive concerns too, because they don't have a lot of their players that they had last year.
Yeah, Buffalo,
so
exactly.
That's the reason why they came out there and scored that many points against them. And of course, Rams are just a mash unit right now. Although they did beat San Francisco this weekend, which was it was mash unit versus mash unit in that game. But I knew that was not going to happen. You said hot my ass. I said all I got to do is contain. And I told you Kyler Murray is going to go back into the shell of Kyler Murray, be a Keebler elf, and just throw stuff up for grabs. He does that. He does that.
He does.
That's why I wasn't worried about.
That's the good and bad with him. All right. So let's do this. Let's turn the page and let's just give a real quick preview. Give me a real quick preview of this next game. Talk to me about it. I know you feel about Geno Smith, so tell me.
No, you really
don't hold back. Don't hold back.
I'm not a big Geno Smith fan in the first place.
Yeah.
And I just think he's a little bit overrated, to tell you the truth. I think they make him more than he is, because he had to take the place of Russell Wilson, which is a big shoe to fill for Seattle.
Yeah,
and I think now that the Lions got the right kind of defense for Seattle. I think the last two times that we played Seattle, our secondary wasn't the greatest. And this is an obvious, because like Geno put up the first time we played against him, he put up good numbers against us. I think that was one of his best games he ever had. He
had a lot of short passes in that game, if I don't remember. Like, he got the ball out quick because he knew that Hayden was bearing down on him, and they got really quick passes, and our secondary did not adjust to that. I remember that.
Yeah, that wasn't, and we didn't have the players. No. The first time we played him, we didn't have the players, and to AG's benefit. The second year, our players are a little bit better, but we still didn't have a great secondary. And I think that was the game that Gardner went down.
I think so, yeah.
CJGJ went down, and after talking all that stuff, that was half the problem.
Yeah.
And then, and then Sutton had to take over. I think Sutton had to take. I believe that was also the game that Mosley started in, and he got hurt like 2 plays into the game, and he got hurt.
No, that was Carolina, because I was at that game.
That was Carolina. Okay. So anyway, they just didn't have. They didn't have what they have as defense right now. Okay, didn't have a DJ Reader. We didn't have Carlton Davis. We didn't have Arnold. We didn't have Amik Robertson, which nobody is talking about either. That's another guy that nobody's talking about. Been out there playing, done shut down the slot, really.
I haven't heard anything from him. Which is good if you're a cornerback, yeah.
Right. If you don't hear anything about him, unless
not like DJ Reader. I was like, did DJ play yesterday? And he was one of the top PFF players. So hey, kudos.
Some news is no news is good news sometimes.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about the second. I'm not worried about this game. I think this game is going to be totally different how it happens. I think, Detroit, like I said, the only concerns I have is with that offense. The defense, I have no problems with. If the offenses stay consistent, we'll be fine.
What do you want to see from the offense?
I want to see them not do well. Goff, he's starting to benefit off the dumb stuff that Ben Johnson's doing. Not benefit, but stoop to his lower level of being a quarterback. That one interception he threw, dude. Now, I don't give a damn if you think that was the play that was called. You see that guy is draped all over him. Why the hell are you throwing a ball in that direction? Don't do that. He had somebody open in the flat. Just throw it to the flat. Now, and then people are getting nitpicky about stuff too on golf, which is unfair. Like when Amon St. Brown caught the touchdown, Gibbs was wide open. And one of my friends that's, he's a Detroit quarterback hater, basically. He don't like any quarterbacks we get. He said, well, Gibbs is wide open. Why did you throw it to him? I said, did we get the touchdown? All right, I don't want to hear it because it doesn't make a difference. The play wasn't to him. It was to Amon. So, I mean, that's where he went to. That's where his play went to. I can understand that. But that interception he threw, that's just playing down to where your offensive coordinator is playing. That's what that is.
I'm not trying to make excuses for what Goff is doing, but I just think he's pressing too much. Like, I don't know if it's the fact that he got a big bag and he feels like he has to justify the bag for maybe doing more, because that's a mantra of the Lions this year. A little bit more is going to take to get to the Super Bowl. But dude, don't press. Like, I'm with you, man. And you can tell he's pressing because all his interceptions are telegraphed. Like that last one yesterday was telegraphed. He threw it right to the guy. Now, was it a timing issue? Yes, it was a timing issue because obviously he had a person in mind. But dude, don't telegraph that. Like, if it's not there, take a sack. Throw it away. Like, why don't you throw the ball away more? I need to see that more from him. Like, it frustrates me.
Or be aware of the other players out there on the field, because that's the difference between being a good quarterback and being a great quarterback. Good quarterbacks, they'll play within the confines of what they're supposed to be playing in and just make a play. Great quarterbacks would have saw that and said, hold on a minute. Let me check down, see who I got off, see who the hot rod is. And that would have been the guy in the flat. I think it was Jahmyr Gibbs that was in the flat, who, by the way, didn't get a catch last game, which is weird because Monty got all that. But Jahmyr Gibbs was out in the flat, open. All he had to do was just toss it to him. Now, I don't know how far he would have got. I don't know what was that, a 3rd and 7 or a 3rd and 8 or something like that. I don't remember. I think Gibbs probably could have got it anyway. But the point is, you gotta be able to be quick on your feet in those situations. Good quarterbacks, they'll just settle for what they got in front of them just because that's what the play is called. Other quarterbacks go beyond that. Great quarterbacks go beyond that. That's why you have the Tom Brady's, the Peyton Mannings, the Patrick Mahomes. You got those plays because they understand that if the play doesn't work directly, they're going to be able to go and say, oh, but I know who I got out here. And I'll check to see him. If Travis Kelce's getting draped by 3 guys, and I'm going to go out to Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy's getting draped by 2 guys, and I'm going to go out here to Rashid Rice. Those are things that he's formulating in his head. Goff isn't that type of a quarterback.
It's fair.
I think that's the way it is.
I think also too with Goff is that, like, it's almost funny, but. Well, it's not funny because it's cost us sometimes, but man, his picks are at the worst times. Like shit, even with the pick that he got when the clock went to two minutes, that was a pick 6. The picks he's thrown against Seattle have been pick 6s. I think he's thrown pick 6s twice in both Seattle games. And they were game-changing picks. And you can't do that, bro. You can't give up 7 points especially when your defense is playing bad. When your defense is playing bad, you sure as hell can't give up any free points. But when your defense is good, you still don't want to give up any kind of points. And that's where I'm alluding to, is that Goff has got to be smarter where he's throwing these picks. If you're going to throw it to the sideline, fine. Throw it to the sideline because stuff happens. I get that. But don't throw in the middle of the field. And sure as hell don't throw it where there's blockers. Your blockers are nowhere to be found. Like the one that he threw in the Tampa Bay or the Rams game, you're in plus territory. You throw it right to I forgot John Johnson or somebody picked it off. I don't know who it was.
Yeah.
But again, it was in coverage. It was in traffic. Don't throw it in traffic. Take the fucking sack. Do something. Do not freaking throw a damn pick. Because every time he throws a pick, it's usually a pick six or it's a big pick that leads to points.
They told me to throw it there. I'm just going to throw it there. Don't make a difference how many. See, Goff has got to separate himself from that kind of a quarterback. That's the thing that I'm saying. Goff,
he just got to chill out, man.
He's got to think outside the box. He's not doing that. That's the problem. He hasn't been doing that his whole career. This is the reason why he was, as much as people want to make of him talking to McVay's wife, whatever the crap that was. That wasn't the problem. The problem is
that what it was? I didn't hear that.
Yeah. That's what they say it was. That's the reason why they traded him. But anyway, the point of the matter is,
hot, so I don't know why he was his wife, but whatever.
But his current wife is hot, but he wasn't dating anybody at the time. Anyway, that's besides the point. The point, the reason why he got traded is because he was doing that same shit here that he was doing there, and that's the problem. He does not think outside the box a lot of times. He's just a meat and potatoes guy. He doesn't go outside for the filet mignon and chicken Marcella. He doesn't go for anything.
It's funny you say that because his personality is very much like that too. He doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low. Mm-hmm. You can never tell if they're winning or losing because he's just even keeled, which is good for a quarterback. Yeah, you don't want a quarterback to get too excited or too down or whatever,
But dude, don't do no dumb stuff. Both those pick sixes that he threw against Seattle, both of them were telegraphed. B, he had check downs open. I remember seeing both this. I was so infuriated at the because those are kind of plays that change the course of the game. And those two plays, and he's like, well, that happened in this one. I said, but that was a play that changed. They got 7 points out of that. You lost 7 points. So whenever you make that play, that kind of groundbreaking play where you throw a pick six, let me tell you, Stafford knows about that too. But the difference between Stafford and him is Stafford thinks outside the box. Yeah, he might throw a pick. Again, I'm just going to go to a comparison. They played Baltimore the year they went to the Super Bowl, right? Dude threw 2 pick sixes. This is Stafford. Two pick sixes. Still won the game, and he was still the person that won the game. So, because he was thinking outside the box. Sometimes you're a gunslinger, and that stuff happens.
And I think that's what it. I think that's right there the difference between those two quarterbacks. One's got the gunslinger mentality that thinks his shit don't stink and can get every pass he can to every person, to where Goff is more conservative and he's going to make the pass if he wants to. But I will say this about Goff is I've seen more confidence with him in tight windows than I've ever seen since he's been in Detroit. But that comes with a cost too, because when you think you can develop, you can throw these on a dime all the time. So the defenses too, and defense gets credit too, because they just make the plays. You know what I'm saying? So Goff's just got to know when not to throw the ball. Like that that pass to Amara for that first down, that was a beautiful pass. Probably the best pass he made. He made
about three or four really good passes in that game, and there was one that he threw that was in really tight coverage. I was like, damn, he did that. I was like, dude.
But he also missed his easy pass too. He missed a wide open J-Mo on the side, and people want to blame J-Mo for his feet. I'm like, bro, he threw it. By the time J-Mo caught it, he was already out of bounds. Like, what do you want J-Mo to do? Like, he doesn't got 7-foot arms. Like, but Goff's got to make those passes, because if he hits J-Mo like that, that's an easy first down, bro, and maybe get points out of that drive. So I just think I think part of it is that he's got new pieces on this offense, with J-Mo having a bigger role, Josh being out, Patrick is kind of being brought into this offense. They don't really use Khalif at all. So it's just basically Amara and Laporta. So I think he's still adjusting to it. But yeah, just make the smarter plays, man. That's all we ask. Like, don't fuck it up. Like, you know, like that's kind of what Goff is we're expecting Goff to do. Like, hey, defense is playing really well. We got a solid running game. Just don't fuck it up, man. Just go out there, throw the right passes, throw when you need to throw into the right windows, and don't press it. That's it.
I just need Goff to stay in his lane.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, just stay in your lane. Yeah, just do your
lane.
thing. Yeah.
Stop trying to have a gunslinger's mentality, and you ain't a gunslinger. Okay,
you ain't Stafford. You ain't Stafford.
He's not half the quarterbacks that do that in this league. So stop doing that. And you if you're 2-0 against Patrick Mahomes, and it's a team effort to beat
3-0.
Kansas City.
2-0.
Okay. No, 2-0 because they
2-0,
played.
Okay.
He played them against them Rams and beat them.
That's right. Yeah,
you're right. The Lions and beat them. That's right. The 3-0 would come from the Lions in general, including preseason, but we don't count that anyway.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why he's successful against Patrick Mahomes. Well, against Kansas City in general, he knows what to look for. See, that's called staying in your lane. But then when you go outside your lane, you try to do some stupid shit like he did against Arizona, like I'm going to throw it in there in coverage and see if that works, or Tampa Bay, or the Rams. Dumb throws. Those are all dumb throws,
and they're all covered people. Like you don't throw into coverage. Period.
I mean, I saw everybody being the person he was throwing to covered before he even threw it. I was like, "Why the hell are you throwing the ball? Those are covered people."
I wish
the one that Johnson had caught. He had 3 people around that damn receiver. You see?
I wish I was a reporter for the Lions, because when they interview the guys in the locker room, I probably would never get asked to come back if I asked this question. But I'd be like, dude, why do you keep throwing it covered into coverage? Like, what are you thinking when you're throwing the coverage? Because I'm pretty sure I'd be kicked out of the locker room. But that's a question I would want.
Question though.
It's a legitimate question. Like, nobody has the balls to ask that question. If I knew I was going to get kicked out and that was the one question I could ask him,
you just got to word it. You just got to word it differently. Like, what did you see when you threw the interception?
What the fuck is wrong with you, man?
I mean, I guess you couldn't really word it anyway to have to get kicked out.
I would straight up just ask him, like, why are you throwing into coverage? Like, you've got other checkdowns, you've got other open people. What are you thinking when you're throwing into a bunch of coverage? Like, are you thinking you're going to make that pass? I mean, what? Like, that's really what it comes down to, because outside of that, dude, Jared Goff has played well. That's the only knock I have with Jared Goff. He's played well.
Never invite you back to
I know they wouldn't. But we can agree, Jared Goff, outside of the turnovers, has played well. He's played solid. This team is doing well with him. He just can't make those mistakes, man. He just can't do that. And
you notice something about Jared Goff too that I think I have to become accustomed to. He does this every year in the beginning of the season.
He does, and I said that something about him. I don't know what it is. He has all his bad games early in the season, like it's like he's rusting the rust off, and then by mid-season he's Mr. Pinpoint. And they brought that up at the 97 ticket because I was listening to a couple of excerpts, and they said the same thing. They're like, when they saw that him was hitting Amon-Ra and dimes and all that, that's old Jared Goff. When they're running the football, that's all the Lions did last year. So little by little, you're starting to see this offense get it going, man. And hopefully the defense continue to do what they're doing, because, like I said, man, if both of these sides can get together and play complementary football, bro, we're going Super Bowl, and we're gonna freaking win it. Like, there's no team that can stop us, because we're 2-1 and we haven't even played our best ball. Like, I keep telling all the trolls in the chat in the north, like, dude, we haven't even started. Like, we played like ass. I'll be straight up honest. We played like ass, and we're 2-1. So, we'll see what happens, but it's going to be a fun Monday night game. Blackout, the black jerseys, the blue helmets are going to be out. I'm so excited for that. Not excited about having to wait till Monday for the next game, but it is what it is. It'll be on primetime TV.
It's primetime
game on at night. So yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. And I would love to get that win and go into the bye week, and then get the Cowboys right after that.
Which is another primetime game, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And another thing too is that these next 2 games, these are revenge games, because they got us last year, so we know in our house, so we want this, and you sure as hell know we want against the Cowboys. We want a ticket to the Cowboys for that last year's debacle crap. So yeah,
and we're probably getting the Cowboys at the best possible time because they're playing like ass right now. You can't. You couldn't beat New Orleans, and they lost to a division opponent in Philadelphia. So if you can't beat New Orleans
and the Ravens,
and Philadelphia did, then there's a problem with your team. I keep trying to tell everybody this: Dallas is not the team that they were last season. There's too much. Yeah. There's too much moral issues going on. There's too much mind stuff going on.
They miss Quinn a lot, dude.
And Jerry Jones is just he needs to go somewhere with himself. So yeah. I feel sorry for the organization. I do, and I don't even like Dallas like that. I just feel sorry for their organization because it reminds me of the Lions, just a better put together team than the Lions, but where when they had William Clayford. Yeah. And they didn't do nothing with it. And that's the same thing with the Dallas is doing right now. They'll do good seasons and then they'll get in the playoffs and just look like, Detroit, on a regular day. You know what I'm saying? Old Detroit in a regular day. So I don't, Detroit's going to win that game. They're going to win that game. They're going to go
Cowboys,
to Dallas. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat the hell out of them.
Yeah, it's not prime time, but it's it'll be prime time for me because I'm in Texas, so it's going to be on every TV here. So it'll be fun. But all right, buddy.
What's up? Make sure when they win that game, go out there and just go out there, just casually walk around. I don't know how hot it's going to be, but get that Lions jersey on and start just walking around and saying, "Hey, how you doing, buddy?"
We beat the Cowboys. I actually might walk around town and just talk a bunch of shit because every time
find somebody in the Cowboys jersey. How about them Cowboys? But that would be great, dude.
Yeah, man. But let's go ahead and wrap up this show. Any final thoughts on anything, man? What anything else you got?
No, I think everything has been, Dan Campbell's already put it out there what the injuries are and who we're going to lose. So I'm positive for this next Monday game. Blackout, by the way. Remember, it's the all black jerseys. Oh, I can't wait to see those.
Rocking in Ford Field, man.
I cannot wait to see that. You know what? It'd be funny as hell if everybody had a black jersey because it would be a blackout then. Because usually it's all blue. But I also give the fans credit. Any fans that were in Arizona.
Oh, dude, it was like a Ford Field West.
Y'all came strong as hell. I mean. I thought I was at a Lions game. I was listening to the Lions game on Ford Field because I heard them cheering every time a Lions player did something good. I was like, wait a minute. Where the hell are the Arizona people at?
Yeah, real quick. What is up with these West Coast fan bases like the Rams, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Cardinals? They always have more fans from the other team than it seems like they have on their own team.
Oh,
why do you think that is?
Too exciting, and they don't have time to be really looking at football unless they win Super Bowls, and then F the West Coast, man. They don't know nothing about football. That's why when you go to Dallas, you'll probably have some Lion fans there in Dallas, but it'll be drowned out. They'll be drowned out by them Cowboy fans,
dude. Football, there was more Dallas fans. I remember when I went to my first game in Detroit, we played the Cowboys. And I'll just show you who the quarterback was. It was Driscoll. Was the quarterback at the time. And we lost that game. And at some point, there were more Cowboy fans than there were Lion fans in the stadium. Mm-hmm. And ever since that, I have not seen that. The Lions have dominated their home field, which they should. And so, I was just surprised. Like, you see that with the West Coast. I was like, dude, what the hell, man? Like, don't y'all pay fans to come to the games?
I think that it stops like Seattle is a really good fan based. That's why they have a whole thing for the 12th man. Broncos have pretty good fan base, but after those two teams, it's like down the drain. San Francisco, because they've won championships, they're a historic franchise. So San Francisco, but other than that, LA Rams. I want to
say because the weather's nice, maybe they don't care to go to the games because you got the beach right in front of you. You got the beautiful 70, 60 degree temperatures. that you're not thinking about going to a football game. Maybe you just want to go and have fun outside.
You ever see the interview they had with Goff? Goff was saying pretty much the same things when he was asked about the fan base here compared to the fan base in LA. He said, well, they got a lot of stuff to do in LA. I mean, if the weather's nice out there, they can go to the beach when they want to. He basically said the same thing you did. He said that football is just not a priority there. This is football state.
Yeah, I'll never forget when he got brought to Detroit. I think he was wearing flip-flops in his interview or his press conference. The guy still wore flip-flops. He wore flip-flops when he was in Hard Knocks. But yeah, I think there's truth to that, because like when you're out on the West Coast, you're enjoying life, you're having a good time. But when you get to the Midwest, it's more grind, it's more survival mode. You're just enjoying what you have in front of you. And obviously the what's the word I want to use? The financial discrepancy is different too. People out the West Coast probably have more money or probably have more freedom and stuff like that. To whereas, hard-nosed blue collar in the Midwest and stuff like that.
But think about it too. How many franchises have been disenfranchised in California? You got the Oakland's been to LA. Yeah. Then they moved to Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. The Chargers were in San Diego. They moved to LA. The Rams were in St. Louis. They moved back to LA after they were in LA. See, that tells you a lot right there.
So what you're saying is all the rich people don't want to pay for the new stadiums.
That, and in fact, they don't want to pay for the tickets to go to the games either.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
This is the Lakers will get that. The Lakers will get that, but everybody else, they're not going to do that.
Well, I think also too, you talk to the fan bases, they got to win. They got to win they got to win championships before we can even talk about.
Even with that, the Rams still don't have a good fan base, and they got a Super Bowl. They still don't have that good fan base. You saw those stars at the Super Bowl, but that was and that was in LA. That was the second team to win a Super Bowl in their own home stadium, but you didn't see. I mean, you saw superstars, but after that, the next season, nada.
Those two teams made no sense to me why they left their fan bases. I thought San Diego had a strong fan base. St. Louis had a great fan base. Like, it made no sense to go west because those people did not want you to come there.
All right.
You forced yourself there, and now you're got a fan base who just has to jump on it because hey, it's the new thing in town. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I think what the West Coast is like a rich person, and the rich person says, oh, it's nice to have this kind of sports car. Right. So let's do that. We'll just get a nice, because it looks good. We're going to just show it.
We'll drive it maybe once every month or something like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I hate people like that. Yeah, definitely. I got 5 cars. Do you use them? No, I just leave them in my garage.
I got 10 of them. All right.
Whatever. All right, amigo. Well, we got to cut it done. So our next preview will be, I'm going to say Monday. Let's do Monday because it's going to be Monday night. Right. So we'll do 6:00 Monday night Eastern time, and we'll lead up to the game. And that's all I got, bro.
Do the post on Tuesday.
We'll do probably the post on Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll figure that out. But yeah, we'll just have to adjust it. But Monday for sure, we'll do 6 p.m. Monday night pregame. We'll talk about the matchups, everything, all that good stuff. But I am out. B, you're out. And I think you had a good thing going, so we're gonna go ahead and do it. Fuck the Packers. Fuck the Bears. Fuck the Vikings. Stay classy, Whacker fans. We're out.
There you go.
We some lions, don't let the boys get loose. About to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening. Time to make history, I want a victory. Lions, don't let the boys get loose. About to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions.